Attention policy enthusiasts, today we're diving headfirst into the controversy surrounding the UK's plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda. Spearheaded by the UK government under Rishi Sunak, this plan has been met with significant opposition. Despite the hurdles, it's set to become law, with preparations already in motion. The cost? A hefty sum exceeding £500 million. Critics argue that this focus on immigration diverts attention from other critical issues such as the economy and healthcare. Yet it's clear this plan aligns with the priorities of Conservative voters. As for Sunak, his future in politics may be significantly influenced by the outcome of the upcoming elections and the success, or lack thereof, of his policies. As we can see, this controversial plan has raised more questions than it has answered, leaving stakeholders and the public alike in a state of apprehension. To understand the implications of this plan, we must first delve into the UK's existing migrant policies, which have been under scrutiny for some time now. A notable example that brings these policies into sharp focus is the case of British athlete Mo Farah. Farah revealed in a BBC documentary that he was trafficked to the UK as a child and forced into domestic labour. His experience underscores the challenges faced by trafficking victims in the UK, many of whom struggle to secure long-term residency due to restrictive immigration policies. While the UK's policies have been designed with the intention of controlling immigration, they have inadvertently created a hostile environment for migrants. This hostility has made it difficult for victims of trafficking to come forward and seek assistance. The government's tough stance on immigration has fostered a culture of distrust, further hampering victims' efforts to seek help. The implementation of the Nationality and Borders Act has raised concerns about the UK's commitment to combating human trafficking. Despite the legislation's purported aim to deter illegal immigration, critics argue that it actually hinders the ability of trafficking victims to access support and protection. Farah's story is far from unique. There are countless other victims of trafficking who face similar challenges in navigating the UK's immigration system. Campaigners warn that these policies are putting vulnerable children at risk and call for a more compassionate approach to addressing the issue of trafficking. Clearly, the UK's existing migrant policies leave much to be desired. But will the Rwanda plan offer a solution or exacerbate the problem? In a surprising turn of events, the High Court has deemed the Rwanda plan lawful. But does lawful mean just? Let's explore. The High Court's ruling has given the controversial plan a green light, but it also underscored the need for individual consideration of each asylum case. This decision has sparked a flurry of responses, with human rights advocates expressing deep concern about the moral implications of the policy. Human rights groups argue that the deal with Rwanda is not just illegal but inhumane, citing Rwanda's poor human rights record as a major red flag. They contend that sending asylum seekers to a country known for its human rights violations could potentially expose them to further harm and injustice. This, they argue, runs counter to the UK's commitment to upholding human rights and protecting the vulnerable. On the other side of the debate, the UK government staunchly defends its policy. They posit the plan as a necessary deterrent to people trafficking gangs that facilitate dangerous channel crossings. In their view, the Rwanda plan is a strategic move to discourage illegal migration and protect lives by preventing perilous boat journeys. However, the High Court's ruling and the government's defence do not quell the concerns raised by human rights advocates. The question of morality, they argue, goes beyond the legality of the policy. It delves into the principles of compassion, humanity, and respect for human dignity. Critics contend that a policy that potentially puts asylum seekers at risk in a country with a dubious human rights record is inherently immoral, regardless of its legality. Undeniably, the legality of the Rwanda plan is a complex issue, with compelling arguments on both sides. Yet the question of its morality remains. As if the waters weren't murky enough, a new twist in the tale emerges. A plan to pay failed asylum seekers to voluntarily move to Rwanda. In a bid to clear a backlog of asylum cases, the UK government is considering a plan to offer financial assistance to those willing to relocate to Rwanda. This is a separate initiative from the controversial Rwanda Bill, which sought to forcibly deport asylum seekers, a move deemed unlawful by the UK Supreme Court. Now, the government is pushing for legislation to declare Rwanda a safe country for asylum seekers in an attempt to circumvent further legal challenges. This move, however, is not without its critics. Human rights groups have voiced concerns, citing Rwanda's questionable human rights record. Yet, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak remains undeterred, aiming to commence deportation flights in the coming months. With deportation flights set to begin in the coming months, the impacts of these policies will soon be felt. But will they be the solution the UK government hopes for, or a catalyst for further controversy? As we close today's deep dive into the UK's Rwanda plan, let's take a moment to recap. We've explored the controversial decision to send asylum seekers to Rwanda, delved into the UK's troubling migrant policies, scrutinised the High Court's verdict and the associated human rights concerns, and examined the proposed voluntary move to Rwanda scheme. From controversy to court rulings, the Rwanda plan has certainly stirred the pot. As we await its implementation, one thing is clear: the world will be watching.